Oh, here's one specific to me. That's rare as fuck.
All right.
This question is mainly for Taylor, but can apply to Woody and Kyle. How does your family feel about you being a minor league internet celebrity, or do they just not know? Now, my family doesn't care, like at all. It doesn't even register. They don't really think about it. None of them watch my stuff or anything. And if they did, they would just be like, we know you.
Taylor's
like,
such an embarrassment.
That seems about right. But it's really friends that are annoying as shit with it. That like I'll be flirting with a girl out and about, and for like if they ask like what I do for work, I just say like my actual job. Like I don't get into a nitty gritty rabbit hole about this shit because it takes a while to explain. You know, like unless you just do what Kyle does, if I recall, and just say, oh, I do an internet radio show or a radio show, something like that. Just simplify. And all the time, when one friend of mine in particular, actually the same Marine guy who went to Thailand, will always, because we go out together all the time, and he will come up and just like, when I'm making good headway with the girl, it's going well, he'll be like, hey, you know, this is Murka Zerka. and he does internet podcasting. And lots of people listen to it. They do. Lots of people, but that never sounds like a lot of anybody's listening to it. She'll be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. He's drunk." Like just to push it away. So that's the only one that gets annoying.
No idea
to me. But like
he was in the war.
He was in the war. He's been following me around all night, and he's scary. So I'm not gonna tell him to leave. Yeah, that's the only thing there.
Things on him.
It goes all over the place. My parents don't like me talking about them.
My grandma and my grandpa have said before, because they know I do this, they just have never listened to any of it. And my mom will say like, "Oh yeah, like I listened to one once. Like you guys are so funny." And like she'll be like, "Mom," like her mom, my grandma, have you ever listened to any of it? And she's like, "Hell no, I don't want to hear my grandson talking like that."
Sounds like she heard some.
Because she knows what it is to an extent. And my grandpa, like they're both religious, and so my grandpa would not be a fan of. He'd probably like the ethnic voices.
Yeah. Oh, probably so. My parents are my mom always was always trying to crack down on like the FPS-Russia stuff, but my dad's always been really proud of it and thought it was super cool. And you know, he'd see like people coming to visit and stuff, and he got it. You know, he always was super duper supportive of it and extremely proud of it. Now my mom is too. And as far as this show goes, they often ask about how to watch the show, and I lie. I lie. My real estate agent, or not my real estate agent, but a real estate agent who came to me to try to like, I've got a property for sale, and she was like, I've got a prospective buyer, you know, and so she came and took some pictures of my place. She represents the buyer, and I'd worked with her in the past, and she's like, yeah, you do that show, don't you? Like, how do I listen to that? And I was like, well,
on a channel called Larry's PSN. And it's called Drugs Make You Feel Better.
I was like, you know, it's a very adult show. It's a little crass. I was like, have you ever listened to like the Howard Stern show where there's a lot of vulgarity and language? She's like, I love that shit. Yeah, I love that shit. How do I tune in? And
the way
like,
I've been like phrasing that recently to like get the level of, where can I listen to it? First of all, I never say YouTube. I always will just say iTunes because I feel like that throws them off the trail a little more, so they're not as likely to listen to it. But they'll be like, oh, yeah, I love, like, fucked up shit. And I'll be like, really? We spent 25 minutes last week making fun of a two-headed disabled girl. Oh, that's too far. You won't like this show.
You won't like next week where there's 25 minutes of drinking horse cum.
Yeah, no. Or when we just really give it to those little bastards.
People with birth defects teasing us. I tell people that I tell dick jokes on the internet and just kind of, you know, laugh it off that way. And that's about where it goes. You know, when I went to sell my house, it almost fell through because of this. They were worried about like doxing and I don't know, people coming to the door because that happened. Yeah. They don't come up my long driveway very much anymore, but they used to come to the old house all the time.
Sure. Yeah. They I think my mom has actually listened to the show. I don't know which one. She said it was funny. My dad has mentioned watching it a few times, and I'm always like, Dad, there's about 350 episodes of this shit. They're 4 hours long each. Okay? we're talking about thousands of hours of content here. If you want to watch some clips, we could sit down and, you know, I'll pull up like the best ofs and you can listen to some funny jokes or something. I was like, but you don't want to wade through this. This is not for you. You know, and that usually gets him off the trail because he doesn't have a computer. He just uses his smartphone for like everything. So
my mom watches the whole show every week. It's part of how she tells what's new with me. I should call more.
That honestly is pretty, like, it's pretty sweet that she does do that.
She hates midgets.
But she does not like the stories I tell of her beating me as a kid.
Honesty does hurt sometimes.
And she's not a fan of my Bible stories at all.
No, she is. They think that you are wildly inaccurate, you know. And but it's funny that I guess the guy that wore a goat thing, they're like, well, he was really hairy. So it made more sense than he made it out to. I'm like, okay.
Was he a wolf man? Because otherwise...
But she's never said that any of my stories were untrue, just that they don't like me sharing them.
Exactly. Yeah, most abusers would rather keep things hidden.
Yeah, I really don't lie.
Roy Moore said the same thing to those little girls. Hey, let's keep that on the down low, ladies.
Yep, pipe down. Or I'm not going to sign your yearbook.
I don't know these people. My father does not watch the show, but every so often he'll catch a clip of it. Maybe my mom will draw his attention to a thing here or there, or, you know, maybe fact check me if they disagree about something I said, or maybe I'll make a blue point in politics that, you know, she needs to hear rebutted.
He said I beat him with a high-heeled shoe. It was a boot.
It was a wedge.
That guy doesn't know a high heel from a pump. He's getting these stories all wrong.
Man, if they get irritated by like the blue political stuff, next time we have a big political discussion, I'm going all blue, like all hardcore. As when you say something left, it's not going to be nearly left enough.
Yep, same thing. Yeah,
let's do that.
I'd like that. Yeah,
community college free. That won't handle it. All college is free.
Yeah, everything.
Next time we
charging
get
for food is oppression. Yeah.
If we get like a new guest, who doesn't know us or anything, and they're kind of politically minded, and like whatever they are, we should go even harder in the paint that direction. Like if we get a really left-wing guest, we should go much harder. I think all white people should be paying some reparations, right? Just as far to the left as possible.
Love to get a blue
Why do you need your own private property? Why not just collect it under a government entity?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we should tax any wealth over $250,000, just wealth accumulation,
100%.
Tax it and redistribute it.
100%. Yeah.
Well, you might be thinking of income tax. I'm talking about accumulated wealth. Just take money from wealthy and
Who
give
needs
it to
more
those...
than $250,000?
No one I can think of.
Who needs to eat 3 times a day for real? Like
actually,
once, twice max, because we're running out of bread in these lines.
Okay, Bernie.
A lot of people, if they cut down to 2 meals, that might help.
No, that's true.
You often hear people cursing the bread lines in the Soviet Union. Did you know they weren't even charging for it? That was free bread mostly. You have 2 family members in a work camp as a sort of pseudo payment tops. It was high quality wheat bread, by the way, not this sugar white bread. You know, big sugar. Another thing. What's that? Something in the corner of my mouth. Yeah, that's always there. Yeah, that's a little bit of old person shit.
It was whole grain.
All right.
All right.